Hey guys, Chari5 here. We move on to Generation 4. Apparently a lot of people really wanted to see this generation since it was a lot of your guys' first. And that's really cool. I mean, I've really enjoyed reading a lot of your guys' comments as to how you started out in Pokemon and what your teams were in the respective generations. I think it's very interesting to see what some people's generations were. I mean, well, not some people's, but like all of your guys' generations. I think it's very interesting to see what your teams were in those generations, rather, because they're Pokemon that some of them are Pokemon that I never really trained before, and that I'd never really think to train. So to hear that other people did is very interesting to me. Right now, I had a very strange way of editing this one. This is a very strange case with this drawing. Honestly, I'm going to talk a little bit about the drawing before I go into the actual generation itself. It was probably one of my favorite drawings to do, if a little bit complicated because of the designs. Gen 4 did something with the Pokemon designs that made them a little, like, too much, you know? Like, I like them, but they're difficult to draw. And I don't know why that is. I had a lot of fun drawing it. Coloring, that one was kind of the cincher for me because I don't know. I don't know what it was. I just couldn't color it right. But as like I said, for the drawing itself, I did enjoy drawing it. I really did. I think this was another 5-hour piece. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't really check. But yeah, this is my Gen 4 team. This was around the time when Gen 4 came out. It was around the time I moved to Mexico. Yeah, because I think Gen 4 came out 2007 or 6, and I came here in 2006. I don't exactly remember how I got this game. If I was already here in Mexico. I guess when my mom visited America again, when she visited the States, I asked her if she could pick up Diamond for me. I guess that's what happened. It was around this time that I actually stopped watching the anime because I really enjoyed the Hoenn adventures of the anime. I enjoyed Ash, Brock, Misty, and Max go through their adventures. Again, especially because Gen 3 was one of my favorites at the time. And I don't know what it was about Diamond and Pearl. Like, I guess it was the whole starting over again thing that I don't know. I didn't. I watched a few episodes of the anime in Gen 4, a little bit of Diamond and Pearl. But that was about it. That was around the time I just stopped. Diamond and Pearl was like the last season for me. Battle Dimension I never saw, even though that's one of my favorite Pokemon themes, the Battle Dimension one. As for how I enjoy Gen 4, what's funny about Gen 4 is I did get it pretty early on. Like, I think I got it about a year after, maybe a year or two after it came out. I don't remember. But I didn't pick it up right away. I think I actually started playing it in 2011. I don't know why I didn't pick it up immediately. That being said, I did thoroughly enjoy Gen 4. A lot of things were very different to me because by this point we'd moved on to the DS. Like, we weren't on the Game Boy anymore. So a lot of things could be improved graphically. I know that a lot of people don't, just as a little tidbit, I know that a lot of people may not agree with me, but Gen 4 has my favorite bike theme so far. I don't know what it is. I love that bike theme. But yeah, here I had, I'm gonna have to actually look this up because I don't remember anymore. This was actually the generation where I started nicknaming my Pokemon, and we felt even more like a team this time around, as opposed to Gen 3, where it felt like, oh, I'm favoring my Swampert above everyone else, even though I do love every other Pokemon. Swampert was clearly my favorite. Here, Infernape was, I guess my favorite, but everyone else had a place in my heart at this time around. Like, everyone was special. No one was left out. This was a very concise team. So I chose Chimchar because it's a freaking fire monkey. Why wouldn't I choose the fire monkey? Even though I know that people love Turtwig. And yeah, I don't know. I do like Turtwig, but it didn't appeal to me. God, I can never remember what the other one was. Piplup. What do you mean I can never remember? Of course I remember. Piplup, yeah. Piplup was cute, but I don't know. Fire monkey. Like, to me, that was the selling point. It's a monkey that's on fire. It's cute. It's adorable. And I nicknamed it Chimchar because by then I had established my channel. So Charify was already a thing, even though, like, my nickname's been Chari for as long as I can remember. And for those of you who don't know, a little piece of trivia, my nickname is Chari because of Charizard. Because an uncle knew that I loved Pokemon so much, and that he knew that I loved Charizard specifically. So he just started nicknaming me Chari. And that was a nickname that just stuck in my family. And people in my family don't call me that much anymore. They still do. It's just not as much. I'm now known as Dude. I guess because I'm the American of the family, and I don't know. Everyone just calls me that. My dad calls me that. Everyone. The more I think about it, everyone in my family calls me that, except for my sister. But pretty much everyone else calls me that. But, Chari is still something that I hold near and dear, and that's why I nicknamed my Chimchar Chimchari, with 3 eyes, and it grew up to be the Infernape that is just a kick-ass Pokemon. I love its design, and again, this was literally the first time drawing any of these Pokemon, except for Kadabra, that I already drew in Gen 1, but Gen 1 was the first time I ever drew it. And I do fix his tail this time around. I didn't notice when I finished the drawing that I colored Kadabra's tail wrong. I didn't do it wrong this time around. Although I must have messed up somewhere, because I do every generation. But yeah, okay, so I have my Infernape named Chimchari, and then, oh my god, the Starly line. It has such goddamn cool names. I love the Starly line. Staraptor. But I nicknamed it Hoshi, because Hoshi means star in Japanese. I'm pretty sure that that's the case. I gave my Pokemon really strange names this time around, like everything means something. So yeah, my Staraptor named Hoshi. Then we have the beginning of the legend of Voldemort. My Kadabra. That was the first time that I ever named my Kadabra Voldemort, and I name every Abra that I find Voldemort ever since. Why Voldemort? I don't know. I guess it was just, I liked it as a unique name, like, because it's a psychic type and all that. And again, every single Voldemort. See, it's just so custom to me. It's just so second nature. Every other Abra or Kadabra that I own, I'd name Voldemort, even if I didn't use it. We have I have a really funny story when it comes to my Rose Raid. It started out as a Badoo that I caught in the wild. And I needed a grass. I knew that I was going to be needing a grass type. So I was like, okay, well, this is clearly a grass type. Badoo, I believe, Badoo was a new Pokemon for Gen 4, so I didn't know that it was the pre-evolution to Roselia, a Gen 3 Pokemon. So I was like, man, I wonder what this evolved into. And one day it just evolves, and I'm like, it's a Roselia? What? So, like, I was super confused, and then I eventually got I think it's a Shiny Stone you need, to evolve it into a Rose Raid. And it was a great grass-type Pokemon. And then I'd later find out that Badoo evolves into Roselia when you have high friendship with it, and that made me feel really good. And my Rose Raid's nickname is Hanako, which means flower, I believe, in Japanese. Again, I wanted all these names to have some sort of significance. Voldemort less so has significance, but there is trivia behind it. This is my Luxray, which started out as a Shinx. It's probably like my third favorite electric type. Its design is one of my favorites out of all of Pokemon, and I had so much fun drawing it because it's so feline in nature, and I don't draw animals very much, but I don't want to say I nailed it, but I think I did pretty well with its pose. I really like the expression, the pose that I did for it. And I wish I could look it up because I don't remember what it is. Its nickname is Sumanus. And I believe Sumanus was like a thunder god of some religion. Or it means thunder in some language. I don't remember. I want to look it up, but the room I'm recording in right now doesn't have Wi-Fi, so that's a shame. And finally, we have... I don't think I'm missing anyone, right? No. We have my Floatzel, nicknamed Moab. And I don't remember what Moab means, but I believe Moab was like... similar to Sumanus. It was like a god of water, or it means water in some language. I don't remember. I'm really going to have to look that up. And maybe put it on the screen later while I put this all together. But this is the first time that I'm actually actually drawing a Pokemon using a move. And the move that we actually can't see it on screen right now, but the move that Moab, the Floatzel, is using is Aqua Jet. And the reason for that is because, well, one, I didn't really know where to put Moab in the drawing. I didn't know where to place him. It's getting more and more difficult to figure out where I want to situate the Pokemon. Like, well, not just the Pokemon, but like every character in the drawings. Like, I don't know what pose I want them to be in, and I don't really look up any pose. The only things I look up are reference pictures for the Pokemon themselves, so I know what they look like and I know what I'm drawing. But I'm not really basing them off any pose. In this case, I'm really only basing Hoshi, the Staraptor, in its kind of neutral pose, but every other Pokemon is just like, it's something that I'm coming up with. And it's good practice for me, honestly, in terms of drawing. And it's been that way for every other Pokemon that I've drawn thus far, these past 3 videos, 4 now with this one. But it's, okay, so it's using Aqua Jet because I believe Aqua Jet is a new move for Gen 4, and it's a priority move. And that was one of the only attacks that I'd let Moab use, because one, it's actually not bad of a move in terms of strength. It's a pretty powerful move. And also, it's because it's a priority move. So, like, it always goes first. It's kind of like a quick attack, but for water. So, right now we're doing the outlining. Every other speed paint that I've done thus far, I've been able to see everything I've done frame by frame. Here, I'm editing in a different way, so it's lagging a little bit in terms of the frame, so I'm not really able to see it correctly, so it's kind of a less enjoyable experience for me, personally. But you guys are going to be able to see it just fine. Here, I'm taking a lot of liberties with the line art. I don't follow my sketches to a T, because, you know, there are going to be some things that are going to look better later on. For example, the fists, I tend to do it very differently. And this is actually the last, probably, generation where the trainer is going to look very vanilla. You could choose between Lucas or Dawn, the new protagonist of Diamond and Pearl. And, you know, I'm obviously drawing myself as Lucas. He has like 3 different designs, and I don't remember exactly why, but I went with this design because I like it more, even though I'm pretty sure that this is his Platinum design, I think. And I played Diamond. And I only own Diamond. I never played Platinum or Pearl. So my Pokemon was Dialga, who... What did I nickname Dialga? I know I nicknamed it something, and I did use it for a while, once I caught it. I think I named it, like, Time, or something like that. Something to do with, like, its place as one of the Pokemon gods, you know. It controlling time, and Palkia controlling space, or the other way around, I don't even remember. That, or I nicknamed it its Japanese name, because I started doing that, too. I know for, like, the Lake Guardians I did that, even though I don't think I ever caught a Zelf in Gen 4, because it's a roaming Pokemon and I can never goddamn find it, and even when I found it I could never catch it. So annoying. Roaming Pokemon. Started in Gen 2, I never really talked about that. I remember going back to Gen 2 a little bit. I remember when I first encountered an Entei, I was like, what the fuck is that? I mean, I didn't say that because I was a kid, and I didn't curse as a kid. But, like, I remember thinking that, like, what is that? Oh my gosh, it's a Pokemon I've never seen before. And I'd always encounter Entei on the same exact route, in the same exact patch of grass, every single time. I don't know if that's something that's in the game. That was just something that happened, and then I would never be able to catch it, because it would fall asleep and it would run away. There's this really funny comic that I'm sure a lot of people have seen, but that's exactly what would happen every time. Even when I put it to sleep, or paralyze it, it would run away. No matter what. And, they brought the roaming legendaries back in Gen 3, the remakes of Gen 1, to be more specific. I don't think there were any roaming legendaries in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. But they brought them back in Gen 4 as the Lake Guardians. There's so many goddamn legendaries now. Like, there's the Lake Guardians, there's the Creation Trio, Arceus, which I always called Arceus like a lot of people, but no, that's wrong. And, I mean, I can see why it's Arceus as opposed to Arceus, but whatever. That's just how it's spelled. So we should be moving on to coloring in a bit. Coloring this time around, I guess I'm going to go a little bit ahead of myself. But like I said earlier, coloring was one of the most difficult processes in this drawing. And I honestly don't know why that was. Like, why coloring? Here we go, we're on to coloring. Especially considering that I was trying to go for the same exact, coloring style that I went for in Gen 3, because they're not much different, but upon further inspection, I was paying attention to the Gen 4 art, and the shading was actually really simple, but I guess because of the fact that I didn't want to go through editing hell, I kind of complicated it a little bit. Even, again, the shading for Gen 4, and I guess even Gen 3 for that matter, isn't too difficult. It uses 3 different shading, but I don't know. There was just something about Gen 4 that I wanted to make it look smooth, and I don't know if I really achieved that or not. Wow, did I? I'm starting to think, did I ever even shade Infernape's hands and feet? I don't think I did. Oh no, I don't think I did. Oh well, we'll see later. Either way, just as a preface, I do think that this piece is rather nice. I don't think it's perfect by any means, but I do think it's nice, and it holds up to what I've been doing so far. It was just a little difficult for me. And I know the reason I touch on Infernape's hands and feet is because I knew that I wanted to change the shading of it because I thought it was too dark, but I don't think I went back and did that. So, yeah, weird. But yeah, right now I'm just coloring in the base color like I did last time, even though that brings me problems when I want to shade, because I can't really select the parts I want to shade depending on how dark it is. Like, for example, Luxray's, the black on his body, I can't really select that without it interfering with the line art. I do have them on separate layers, but the problem is, when I go back and select the white on the outline layer, it doesn't select everything, so then it just looks gross. So I have Contagious on, or sample all layers. And I could turn down the tolerance, but I don't know exactly how much I need to turn it down. I need to experiment that tomorrow, I guess. Because, yeah, I'm going to be drawing a Pokemon with a lot of black in them. Something I didn't really mention on yesterday's video was that there were actually a lot of blues and reds. A lot of, very, very quaint to Ruby and Sapphire in that drawing, which I found really funny, but I didn't really pay much attention to it until after the fact. And this time around, we have a lot of varied color. We have yellows, we have reds, browns, blacks, blues. There a lot of really base colors, actually. I never thought of that. Not too many extravagant colors. I really do like this trainer design, though. It's very simple, but it's also very nice. I like the color scheme. I've always liked blue, white, and black. But I didn't really appreciate it too much until, like, I was a little bit older. And it has, like, a little bit of red incorporated too, which I think is nice. You know, all the trainers gotta have red somewhere, I guess. So yeah, we're just coloring a bit now. Again, I never played the Gen 2 remakes, so I can't really touch much on that. But again, I will make a separate video when I do get around to playing those. Although I honestly don't know if I'll have a different team than what I had in Gen 2. But we'll see. I might. I'm just not the best when it comes to poses. So again, doing all these poses from like scratch with no reference beforehand to me is like really good practice, because I'm terrible with depth. So I mean, don't be surprised if you don't like that Infernape's leg, his left leg, because I mean, I like how it looks enough, but I understand that not many people would like it because it probably doesn't really look right, especially with the shading that I gave it. Coloring the Luxray, oh gosh, one of the more difficult things about the piece. I see how I struggle a little with the leg. The Floatzel was easy enough because so many of these designs are so simple, but for some reason, just coloring it was difficult. And I honestly couldn't tell you why. And especially since I'm going to have to color the water later, I'm not a huge fan of how the water came out, but I don't entirely dislike it. I don't know why. At first I was like, oh, coloring this water is going to be terrible. I was going to give it an anime aesthetic, and I guess I kind of did, but it just didn't come out entirely the way I wanted it to. And again, that's not to say that it came out terribly. It's just, I do feel like this piece could use a little bit of work compared to everything else. Especially, taking into consideration the style I was going for, mostly. But yeah, see, I colored Kadabra's tail right this time. My sweet Voldemort. I really love this team. I look at it, it's like, yeah, that brings back memories. It really brings back memories. And the reason that I put Hoshi, my Staraptor, on Chimchari's arm, I was originally going to put Hoshi in like a kind of flying pose, but I didn't have the reference photo that I used didn't show like the Staraptor's underwing, so I was like, oh, I'll play it safe. I don't want to like make anything up, so I guess I'll just play it safe and kind of do what I did with Swellow in yesterday's drawing and just have it on someone's arm. But I already posed Infernape and the trainer like hooking arms, which I don't know why I did. I just thought it would be interesting. So again, a lot of these pieces are very improv because I know I don't really have anything planned out in my head. I just go for it. So the reason I put it on Infernape's arm was because I always considered both of them to be like super teammates, kind of like similar, honestly, to how I considered Swampert and Swellow in Gen 3. Like they were just like the best buddies, like they were the teammates. I put Voldemort like next to the two because they kind of share the similar thing. To me, just these 6 Pokemon are just really good friends in my mind. And when was it? By Gen 3, they already had natures, I think. But I never really looked into that. And to this day, I still don't. But I like to imagine that based on their, their natures, that's their personality, And I do like that they've tried to give the Pokemon personality as the generations have gone by. It's something that's super interesting to me. And I should pay more attention to that because I feel like that would give them more character than I give them. It would be easier to give them character that way. But yeah, like again, to me, these Pokemon just have a lot of character. Infernape is like the big brother to everyone. Hanako's like a very pretty princess. Hanako being the Rose Raid, if you don't remember. Sorry. The Floatzel to me, Moab, is kind of like he's there, but he's not, you know? I kind of see Sumanus, the Luxray. I always saw him as, like, a very carefree, Simba-like kind of Pokemon. Here I'm trying to, like, not blur, but, like, blend things together. And I do think that ultimately did help the piece a lot. Anyway, but it's funny because I draw him like that. I draw him like a very playful Pokemon. And once he became a Luxray, I more so saw him as a very serious, like, I am the beast of the team. I don't know. Again, I think Staraptor Hoshi is like a very serious bird, and the same goes for Voldemort. Like they were very like we're very I don't know what the word is. We're very dangerous. We're very serious Pokemon. But that is the piece. I hope you guys like it. I mildly like it. I like it enough, but there is the final piece. That is my team in Generation 4. I will see you guys tomorrow with my team for Gen 5. See you then, guys.